Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in advice? Endless articles, countless self-help books, all promising the secret to a calmer, happier you. When it comes to personal well-being, stress relief. Well, the sheer volume of information can ironically just add to the stress, can't it? So the question is, how do we cut through all that noise? How do we find what truly helps you? Today, we're taking a deep dive into an incredible source, my anti-stress year, 52 weeks of soothing activities and wellness advice. We've kind of curated a journey through this really extensive guide, pulling out some surprising facts, some really actionable insights, all tailored for you.
That's right. And our mission today, it isn't just about listing a bunch of tips, not at all. It's really about exploring a holistic approach, something that truly connects your physical, your mental, emotional, and social well-being. We're going to unpack practices that, foster that inner peace and help cultivate stronger connections, not just within yourself, but with the world around you too.
Yeah, and what's really unique about this source, I think, is something it emphasizes right away. It says the first 4 weeks are important markers, the basis of your practice. So it's really about establishing a solid groundwork first, isn't it? Before you go picking and choosing what appeals later on. It feels like a very deliberate way to build that personal foundation.
Exactly. And a key concept introduced right in those initial weeks is solidarity.
Hmm.
The source highlights how fostering exchange, discovery, really understanding what other people are going through. Well, that's absolutely fundamental. It explains that this approach, quote, facilitates human contact, shatters the barriers of solitude, social and cultural aloofness, and, above all, generates a community process that respects everyone's input. What's fascinating here is how it frames stress relief not just as like an individual thing, but really a communal one, breaking down that isolation.
That's such a powerful idea. It really resonates. The source even shares this beautiful quote, happiness is sweetest when shared.
Hmm.
But, okay, practically speaking, how does that simple truth translate into tangible wellness for us? Especially maybe for someone who feels a bit isolated or struggles to connect.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it ties directly into what the source calls the cocooning space concept.
Hmm?
So taking control of your health isn't just about, say, your personal eating habits or knowing about essential oils, physiotherapy, color therapy, all those things, or Mother Nature's healing power. It's also, and this is key, very fruitful to organize workshops with family members or friends to share these ancient and economical pieces of information. The source really encourages you. Give yourself the attention you deserve, have fun, and share. It highlights that sharing knowledge, sharing experiences, that's a vital part of your own well-being journey. Fostering connection as a core anti-stress practice.
Right, building on that crucial foundation of connection. Okay, so then the source seems to shift gears a bit towards more tangible, maybe common sense methods for daily well-being, starting with how we nourish ourselves.
Absolutely, from the inside out. So the source introduces things called hydrolats, which are essentially aromatic or floral waters. Think of it as the gentle, water-soluble essence of a plant, like geranium, for example. It's what remains after the distillation process for essential oils. They offer a much milder way to use plant benefits compared to, say, concentrated essential oils.
Interesting. And then there's the surprising versatility of sprouts. What does the source say makes them such a go-to?
Ah, sprouts. Yeah, they're described as the perfect accompaniment to any dish, whether it's cooked or raw. They're an excellent source of amino acids, and they're incredibly easy to get or even grow yourself in a simple sprouter. Just seeds and moisture, basically.
Yeah.
The key insight here, I think, is their accessibility and the ability to choose them according to their virtues. So for specific health benefits, they're just a fresh, nutrient-dense boost you can easily integrate into your daily diet. Pretty simple, really.
That's fascinating. With all the diet trends and everything, old grains get mentioned a lot. But what specifically does this source highlight? What makes them so special, especially for our health today?
Well, what's really interesting here is that these old grains are gaining popularity precisely because they tend to be easier to digest. And that's a significant factor, isn't it? With rising food intolerances and sensitivities, the source really emphasizes this return to these less modified ancient food sources. So, for example, small spelt, which is also known as einkorn, it dates way back to 9000 BC. Apparently, it's never been genetically modified, doesn't need pesticides, and it's the only germinate that contains all essential amino acids. And then you have millet, originally from Asia and Africa. It's hypoallergenic, rich in vitamin A, contains rare minerals like manganese and zinc. There's also barley, very rich in fiber, great for digestion. You can use it as a main course or even in pastries because it's quite sweet. It promotes fullness, helps regulate glycemia, lowers cholesterol. And corn, too, rich in protein, iron, calcium, fiber, and easy to cook. The profound takeaway from these old grains, I think, isn't just their nutritional profile. It's the implicit question the source poses. Are we overlooking ancient wisdom in our modern diets, especially given contemporary health challenges?
That's really comprehensive. Yeah. It's clear the source isn't just about general principles, but like concrete actions. Does it also offer practical home remedies? Or maybe even comforting recipes that tie into this whole holistic approach?
Oh, absolutely. It provides several time-tested recipes for prevention, which is great. For instance, for cold and flu, it suggests boiling cloves and powdered cinnamon, then adding lemon juice, rum, and honey. Simple stuff in the kitchen. For a sore throat, a simple infusion. Cinnamon stick, honey, and optionally powdered ginger. The overarching theme is leveraging accessible ingredients for immediate relief, things you probably already have. It also champions using blenders for energizing vitamin juices. It gives combinations like cantaloupe apricot or blueberries grapes, things like that. Plus, it includes recipes for gluten-free bread loaves, homemade yogurt, really highlighting that return to natural homemade nourishment.
Okay, so pulling that together, what does this all mean for finding natural relief in our daily lives through these ingredients? What's the main point?
It really highlights the accessible power of herbal remedies and common spices. They're right there for us. For instance, Queen of the Meadows is noted for its anti-inflammatory properties and for helping eliminate blood toxins. And horsetail, which helps with remineralization, strengthening bones because it's got silica. It even suggests a cherry stems infusion for things like rheumatism and flu prevention. The source is basically reminding us that remedies often lie in the simple, natural elements around us, often right in our own kitchens or gardens. And it has a nice touch about spices, too. Strong and emotionally charged spices like cinnamon, cardamom, and poppy will add a smile to shared sweet moments.
Right, makes sense. But it's not just what we put into our bodies, is it? It's also how we move them. Let's shift our focus now to engaging the body for flexibility and calm.
Indeed, that connection is vital. The source outlines some simple My Path to Well-Being movements, and it emphasizes that body flexibility is really key to preventing muscular tensions. That's a big takeaway. It offers actions like gentle neck rotations, just simple turns, or specific elbow bends to release tension in the arms. It even gets into lumbar stretches and foot and ankle exercises for spine alignment, like using your finger to lift your big toe while your foot is flat on the floor, feeling the arch work. The key insight is that even small, deliberate movements done consistently can significantly contribute to overall body flexibility and alignment, and that reduces physical stress.
Okay, so beyond these daily sort of micro movements, the guide also explores more structured, maybe ancient practices that integrate mind and body. What does it say about the benefits and approaches of, say, qigong or yoga?
Right, the more formal practices. Well, Qigong is presented as a practice that encourages concentration, augments lung capacity, and promotes listening to your body, all in silence. The movements are described as gentle, fluid, designed to harmonize mind and body. It gives an example. Breathe in, palms open toward the ceiling. Raise your arms up to your nose. Turn your palms in and bring up your arms and so on. It details the flow. With yoga, the benefits emphasize progressive practice. You don't jump into advanced stuff. Breathing through the effort is crucial. And most importantly, being present. Be in the here and now and listen to your body. That's a constant refrain. The salutation to the sun is highlighted as a good sequence because it summarizes many basic poses. It offers that holistic approach to movement.
Now, this next part from the source, this really shifts our perspective, I think. It offers an anti-stress toolbox for, like, immediate relief.
Yes. These are the quick, practical techniques for when you just need to dispel stress right now. Daily stresses, For general muscular tension, for example, the source suggests gently tugging on your earlobes or rolling the cartilaginous part of your outer ear and massaging the sides of your jaw, just for about 5 minutes, maybe every couple of hours if needed. These are quick, discrete things you can do anywhere, really. It also reminds you, and this is a great tip, even when you feel nervous, make sure your posture is good, your hips aligned, and your back straight so you can breathe freely. Posture matters for breathing. Another simple one, standing or sitting, give slow motion air punches, breathing slowly to de-stress. Just releasing that tension physically. It's all about finding those small, immediate ways to release physical tension as it builds up.
Okay, that makes sense. So moving beyond the physical, our deep dive also reveals some powerful ways to engage our minds, doesn't it? And connect with our inner selves and even with others. Let's delve into that mindful cultivation piece.
Yeah, this section is fascinating. It reveals how we can actually program your mind through conscious breathing. The source explains that this specific breathing technique induces alpha brainwaves. Now, alpha waves are those brain states associated with deep relaxation, calm, receptivity. It's almost like that peaceful state just before you fall asleep. And this state, the book suggests, helps new thoughts and intentions take root more effectively in your mind and makes you more receptive. The technique itself involves breathing in for a count of 5, holding the air for a count of 7, and then exhaling slowly for a count of 9. You repeat this maybe 10, 12 times, all while holding a clear, objective sentence in mind. Something like, day to day, I am calmer and more relaxed. I don't let stress get to me.
Wow, so conscious breathing to actually program the mind. Okay, so what does this all mean for focusing our, let's face it, often scattered minds in the midst of daily life?
Well, it leads directly to what the source calls object-focused meditation. This practice is designed specifically to help slow down the brain's electrical rhythm, which in turn reduces stress. And you can do it anywhere, even at work, sitting at your desk. The method is surprisingly simple. You just concentrate on a common object, like, say, a notebook on your desk, about 24 inches away. You keep your hands flat on the desk, and you just observe its details, the cover, the pages, the lines, but without analysis. Just pure observation. Do this for maybe 5 to 10 minutes regularly. The power really is in its simplicity and how accessible it is for anyone needing a quick mental reset during a busy day.
Right. The source also introduces some creative and sensory paths to peace that sound quite unique. Coloring with ice cubes, sponges.
They're pretty unique, yeah. So one relaxing method involves using color application with ice cubes, like using them as coloring pencils or making stripes lighter, or using sponges. With sponges, it's about gently tapping. Rinse the sponge every time you switch color. The whole idea is to reach deep harmony by concentrating on your creativity. You're allowing the focus on the visual, the tactile sensation, to induce calm. There's also a simple health tip. Just doodle on a piece of paper daily for peace. Simple doodling can be meditative. And another tip is to regularly concentrate on this type of mandala, those intricate circular designs for relaxation and mental peace. It's really about engaging different parts of your brain through creative expression, getting out of that analytical mode.
And there's even a specific sensory experience mentioned, light therapy. Tell us about that.
Yes, light therapy. The source gets quite practical here. He gives advice on lamp placement, saying it should be above your eye level to maximize light absorption through the retina. And distance is mentioned, like 12 feet for a 10,000 lux lamp. Consistency is also key. You need to do it for a few days, 4 or 5, to really start seeing effects. It's recommended daily from about October 15th to March 31st, the darker months, and year-round for night workers to help compensate for energy loss and combat things like seasonal affective disorder. The source also describes a guided visualization exercise using white light, month white. You imagine this light sweeping through your body, starting from your feet, moving all the way up to your head. Visualizing it, freeing muscles, relaxing your face, bringing harmony. You can even personalize it by adding words like soft light, cool or warm light, energizing or peaceful, whatever resonates with you.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Now, this next part from the source, this really expands our focus, doesn't it? Moving beyond just the self to our relationships and, well, the world around us.
It does.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting here is how the source guides you to reunite with nature. Not just be in nature, but reunite with it. It suggests a specific nature walk exercise. For about 15 minutes, you just observe, but without interpretation. That's the crucial part. So visually, you focus first on distant objects, then mid-range, then close objects maybe 30 feet away. About 5 minutes for each. And you do the same thing auditorily, listen to sounds far away, then mid-distance, then close up. Again, 5 minutes each. The key is to consciously forget what was on your mind for that short period and just immerse yourself in the present moment, finding peace in the natural world through pure observation.
Wow. Okay, but what about tackling challenging relationships or difficult situations? The source suggests using movement for that. That sounds incredibly unique.
It really is. It offers a specific walking meditation technique. It's designed for acting upon a particular topic or maybe mending a relationship. You start by formulating a clear question in your mind, like, what should I do to mend my relationship with the person's name? Or how can I approach this difficult situation? Then you start walking slowly and you progressively accelerate your pace. As you walk, you consciously think about the person or the difficult episode. But here's the twist. You intentionally try to wrap the scene with positive emotions. You're trying to gain perspective, not just rehash negativity. Then you visualize the person involved smiling, extending a hand to you, creating a mental image of reconciliation, of making peace. Finally, you reformulate your question about how the situation might evolve, and you actively observe your surroundings for what the source calls a direct sign. This could be anything, really an animal coming towards you, a sudden ray of sun cutting through a gray sky, something that feels meaningful to you in that moment.
It's about finding clarity and resolution through intentional movement and observation.
That's quite a process.
Very different.
So what does all this mean for how sound affects our well-being? The source talks about music and energy connection.
Right. It explains using music specifically for energy connection by placing speakers at different points on the body, aiming to connect with different energy centers. So with speakers placed near the soles of your feet, it's for connecting with telluric energy, earth energy. It suggests using soft drums, cello, or maybe a cappella male voices for this, grounding sounds. Then, with speakers placed near your ribs, the aim is for soft, surrounding, nurturing music. Think lighter sounds, maybe without strong drums or high-pitched percussion, more enveloping. And finally, speakers placed near the top of the head are for connecting with higher frequency instruments, things like the harp or the oboe, lighter, more ethereal sounds. The underlying idea is that specific sound frequencies can resonate with different parts of your body, potentially creating harmony and balance. It's about vibrational connection.
Interesting. And the power of language and intention clearly plays a big role throughout this source, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It comes up again and again. Once you've established a meditation practice, the source introduces what it calls 4 types of positive sentences. These are designed to expand a powerful creative energy. They are, first, a personal sentence like, I'm in good health. Simple, direct. Second, a personal commitment sentence, such as, I am setting up a glowing future. More action-oriented. Third, a collective wish sentence, maybe, I commit to bring harmony around me, expanding outward. And fourth, a compassion sentence, for example, I brought attention to my unhappy cousin, focusing care on others. This ties into the concept the source mentions. Cardiac coherence is efficient and super simple. Cardiac coherence is essentially learning to control your heart rate variability through specific rhythmic breathing and focused positive intention or emotion. The book emphasizes how this mind-body connection, this coherence, can be incredibly efficient and, well, surprisingly simple to achieve with practice.
Wow. The source also reminds us of the profound power of affection, doesn't it? It even goes so far as to quote Nathaniel Hawthorne.
It does indeed. A really poignant quote from Nathaniel Hawthorne. Caresses are as necessary to our sentimental life as leaves are to trees. Without them, love dies from its roots. Powerful stuff. And it quotes Oscar Wilde, too. Love is the only thing that keeps one alive. It then offers a practical, if unusual, kissing exercise for showing tenderness from afar. You write the name of the person next to the heart, presumably on paper or just mentally, and imagine you're giving him or her a kiss. Use this occasion to offer tenderness from afar. A simple act of focused intention. There's also a practice mentioned for sending love to someone trustworthy when you are feeling stressed. You place your right hand on your heart, breathe in, feeling like you're breathing in a piece of your heart's warmth, and then breathe out, consciously sending that feeling, that love to the person. Or, for a broader sense of connection, you can raise your palms towards your throat, imagining you're receiving feelings, then open your arms wide, offering realization wishes to the whole world. It really highlights how giving and receiving affection, even symbolically or from a distance, is just vital for our emotional health and resilience.
It's amazing how broad this is. And even practical home organization tips are presented as a pathway to reduce stress. It really is holistic, isn't it?
Yes, it truly covers a lot of ground. The source gives a general checklist of easy-to-implement solutions for home organization. Simple things, really, like having a trinket basket by your main door for keys, wallet, the stuff you always lose, organizing your mail and agenda neatly on your desk, creating a specific computer file just for personal tasks, keeping them separate, and maintaining a family agenda on the fridge for activities, shopping lists, coordinating everything. It's all about creating physical order to reduce that mental clutter and stress. It even gets into practical considerations for something like a balcony garden, which is great for city dwellers. It advises thinking about plant selection based on your space, carefully observing sun exposure throughout the day, planning for easy water access, and importantly, checking for structural weight limits or any building regulations before you start piling on heavy pots. It emphasizes that even in small spaces, connecting with nature through gardening can be a really powerful stress reducer. And it gives examples of easy-to-grow plants to get you started.
Makes sense. What about simple, natural self-care recipes? Not just for eating, but for, like, our bodies.
Yes, it offers some really accessible recipes for that too. Things like a Marseille soap shampoo. You make it using rosemary, hot water, shavings of Marseille soap, and a bit of sesame oil. Very natural. And also a nourishing algae conditioner made from Iziki algae, which you can usually find dried in distilled water. It's about empowering you to create your own natural products, fostering that sense of self-reliance and connecting directly with natural ingredients. And this next one raises an important, maybe unusual question. How do you program a crystal to enhance your well-being? The source actually details a fascinating process for this. First, you choose a hard crystal, not too big, maybe max 4 inches. Then you clean and charge it. The source suggests either burying it in the earth or leaving it in water overnight, then putting it in the sun until about 3 p.m. Then you mentally visualize opening its 7 petals, like activating its energy centers. And you program it with a clear thought or intention. For example, when I need energy, I think about you. You send me strength wherever I am. You then amplify its energy by placing the crystal on your heart, while focusing on that intention. And you should reformulate that thought daily. It even mentions using it for children. Maybe putting it under their pillow with a thought like, with you, I am not afraid during the night. It's a practice that leverages the power of intention using a physical anchor, the crystal, for personal well-being or comfort.
Wow, programming crystals. Okay. Finally, the source even gives us ideas for group engagement, right? Taking this beyond the individual into the office or even involving children, it shows its reach into our social lives too.
Exactly. It outlines ideas in Week 11 Group Exchange, specifically for the office environment, aiming to enhance professional relations. It suggests maybe using HR's help to allow time for employees to post ideas or positive feedback on a shared billboard, and maybe offering a quick flash relaxation session as part of it. For children, there's a lovely fresco project described. It involves creating a box where children can put names, maybe add positive words next to each name, and then participating together in coloring a large fresco using crayons. It's all about fostering that shared creativity, positive interaction, and connection in various aspects of life, work, family, community.
That's fantastic. And to bring this all home, to really encourage personal reflection, the source includes some really powerful questions for you, the listener, to consider. These go beyond just the activities themselves, prompting deeper thought. Questions like, in a few words, describe what kissing means to you. Or, in a few words, explain what the word oxygen means to you. It sounds simple, but it makes you think. There's, in a few words, describe how you can make this tree grow even more, maybe referring to a personal project or relationship. And in a few words, write the solutions that would help you feel less oppressed, getting specific about your stressors. And finally, in a few words, synthesize the decisions that you plan on making in order to improve your quality of life, really committing to change. It also includes these great self-check questions for daily moments, asking yourself during a morning shower or breakfast or your commute or even when listening to colleagues, am I really present in my body? Am I in the thought that corresponds with the activity experienced? These questions really invite you to integrate these practices actively, consciously, into your lived experience day to day. What an incredible breadth and depth of strategies we've covered in this deep dive. I mean, from ancient herbal remedies and grains all the way to mindful walking and even programming crystals, this guide truly offers a comprehensive toolkit, doesn't it? For managing stress and cultivating well-being on so many levels.
It really does.
Yeah.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, it just reiterates that true well-being, lasting well-being, it isn't really about finding that one single magic answer or some quick fix. It's much more about exploring diverse paths, discovering what resonates uniquely with you, and then integrating different practices into a holistic approach, an approach that truly supports you in all aspects of your life.
Absolutely. And, the source quotes the writer Daniel Pennack suggesting, answers rarely establish the truth. A series of questions do. Okay, so perhaps the deepest dive isn't just about absorbing all this knowledge we've discussed today. Maybe it's more in continuing to ask the right questions about our own unique path to peace and harmony, long after this deep dive ends. So we encourage you to reflect. What specific elements from this deep dive today really sparked something for you? What might you incorporate, even in a small way, into your own anti-stress journey starting now?